Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And we are here for the Hour of Variety.
The 10th. It's actually the 10th this week. I counted. I actually watched one of them. I'm like, hey, it's 10. Make sure you say that. 10 hours. 10 hours of variety.
10. And we've been doing hours.
Hour-long variety.
Yeah, I've been trying.
Yeah, Strip Cover Lit. Now without false advertisement.
Yeah. Variety half hour just doesn't have the ring to it.
It doesn't. But a little bit of good news.
Yeah.
Little bit something different.
Yeah.
We've taken on a new venture. Something people have been asking us for a while.
Unfortunately, we have to suffer from the terrible writer trope of telling and not showing.
Telling and not showing.
Because we're turds.
Yeah. So we have started a little bit of merchandising.
Yeah.
You can now own your very own Strip Cover Lit t-shirt. Strip Cover Lit hoodie. Which we don't own.
No.
Because we're like, we really should buy some of these so we can like show them off, and then like,
well, and I just want to have them.
You know, they're nice to have. I'd wear them. I'd wear them around.
But we're idiots, and we have not done so. Apparently, they are only available in the United States as well.
I think that is a thing. That's unfortunate.
I can't imagine that lasts long with as much as Amazon likes making money.
True.
Right?
Very true.
Especially when you're talking about Canada and Mexico.
I thought that was bizarre.
Yeah, it really is strange. But yeah, a Strip Cover Lit shirt, which is straight black with the words Strip Cover Lit in white.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We got a couple other options in there, some literary things, some Adrian reads Harry Potter things, but just as simple as popping on the old Amazon and searching for Strip Cover Lit.
I really, really, really want to make a shirt with Dalton's face on it that says the Dalt in our star, like the fault in our stars. He is not nearly as happy with that idea as I am.
I will eventually buy it, and I'm going to be the guy who wears his own face on his shirt.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
I'm surprised you don't already have a tattoo of your own face.
And then eventually I'm going to have a picture of myself wearing that shirt on the shirt. Just downhill from there.
Daltception.
Oh, don't make me laugh. So, let me tell this little tale here. I had my Beer Olympics last weekend. We talked about that, and we were going to have a slip and slide, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that is where this is coming from. But I dislocated a rib. And holy hell, man. That is a new level of uncomfortable and pain that I have never really felt. I've broken bones. I'd take that. Because at least they put that in a nice little cast and it doesn't remind me every time I breathe.
Yeah.
So I went to the chiropractor for the first time at the ripe age of 28. I don't go to doctors. I avoid them like the plague. I have never been to a chiropractor, but it was suggested after I realized, my gallbladder wasn't exploding and it was something in this general vicinity. And that woman killed me.
Yeah.
I don't have words to explain it. She maybe weighs 120 pounds, was wearing a sundress because that's what chiropractors wear, and she lays me flat on this table. First she lays me on my back, and she brings out what is essentially a power drill with a little punching knob, and she just starts on my ribs. I'm like, all right. That's a thing. She's like, we're trying to get it back into place, get it aligned a little bit, and she flips.
By beating the hell out of you.
Beating the hell out of me. I'm like, that's uncomfortable, but I expected something like this. Then she flips me over, and I'm laying on my stomach. And she lifts these knobs on this table that I'm on, and one kind of lifts up on my upper torso here, one kind of lifts up on my stomach, and kind of has me at a wonky angle. And she says, now I'm going to press on your back. And when I do, don't be alarmed, but those flaps that are holding up here are going to flatten. They're going to make a bit of a noise. Some people get alarmed by that. I'm like, no big deal. Thanks for the warning. At this point, I am convinced this person drop kicks me in the back. My significant other is there with me, informs me she did no more than just push heavily, didn't even get on the tiptoes, just pushed, to the point that I screamed in the chiropractor's office. I have never felt such pain and such awful... I don't have words for it. And then she's like, all right, get back, roll over on your back. We're going to punch it in a little bit. And like, I'm like, try to move. I'm like, and she flips over and she kind of reels me. She's like, ribs back in place now. I'm like, thanks, Doc.
Yeah, I've never been to a chiropractor either. They terrify me. I hear all sorts of stories about people being paralyzed by them. They're not actual doctors. But I do have a rib. So I hate to tell you this, but that rib that pops out, that's yours now.
Nope. That's not the way this works. It's fixed.
Yes, it is.
It feels better. It's just sore. And it's going to be better in a couple days. I'm never going to worry about it again.
No, sir. That is yours to deal with. That is yours to understand and cope with.
I went a couple days after this slip and slide, and that has to have been what happened. I can't think of anything else. And I was fine. No issues. And one day I'm watching the World Cup, and I get up, I'm like, oh, no, back. What have I done? And maybe it's one of those wonky things that happens with your body that after 10 minutes or so, you're fine. And it doesn't go away. And after like freaking out for about an hour and a half, I'm stretching, I'm trying to pop my back, figure it out. I'm like, this is bad. This is internal organs. This is this gallbladder area. I'm like, I need to hospital. I need to hospital now. So I wake significant other up. I'm like, I'm dying. Please save me.
Yeah.
It just awful. Didn't go away. Had to go to the chiropractor the next morning, and that has been my life experience for the week.
I've got one that slips out, and mine is in my back. Like it slips out at the back. I think that's what's going on. I don't know. I've never had it diagnosed.
This person told me that usually with a slipped rib, you feel it in your back first. When you feel it in your back, because like it did start in my back and my side, and then eventually transgressed to like right here. Couldn't even touch that area without wincing.
Mine is a years-long thing now. It's in my, like, the front and side part never come out. It's the back. And it's right up on, like, the middle of my back. Can't breathe when it happens. Can't do anything when it happens. The first time it happened, it was so bad, I was sure that it was a slipped disc.
Okay.
Like, it was bad. And so now, like, the crazy part about it now is, I mean, this was 4 days I couldn't breathe. Still going to class, still going to work, still sometimes going to the gym. But I couldn't breathe. And I was hunched over. Because, like, not hunched over with the arms out. Because that was the only way I could get any relief. And so I would walk around like that, right? Like, for all the reasons to think I'm a weirdo, that's probably one that a lot of people had for a while. But now, the hell of it, it'll just pop out. I was in the shower the other day and it popped out. And so if you ever see me do this, it's because I'm trying to put it back.
Oh, no.
And I was in the like, literally didn't do anything. I was just standing there and it popped out. So if you want to talk about a conundrum, try bench pressing 315 pounds and it slips out while you've got, so I'm a 200-pound guy. Lifting 300 pounds, I've got 500 pounds laying on that rib, and it slips out.
I'm uncomfortable talking about this.
It's bad stuff. And it never goes away.
As long as I was laying flat on my back, I was fine. And like I got to the point of like, this is, my modern medicine equivalent. I'm laying flat. If I stand, I can't breathe. I can't move my arm. I can't bend over. But if I'm laying flat, this is fine.
Right.
I can live like this. And I'm just going to sleep this off and it'll be fine tomorrow. And then you wake up and you roll out of bed and you're like, oh, nope, that ain't right.
So you're saying you haven't been to work for a week?
Accurate. Fair. Yes. But wow, that was an experience. But in true fashion of myself, I decided what I needed was a good hot bath. I don't own a bathtub. I shower. My house doesn't come equipped with one of those. But I did have a room at one of the casinos here in town, comped room, so I comped myself a nice little suite, sat in one of those large soaking tubs all night. It was a smoking room so I could chain smoke, had a glass of wine. Felt worlds better. It's the only thing that fixes you.
How much money have you lost at the casinos that they're willing to give you a free room with a jacuzzi?
Here's the thing.
And the ability to smoke in there.
Dropping things. Here's the thing. Not as much as you'd think.
Not as much as, more than you realize.
More than I realize, but not as much as you think, because here's the deal. If you're staying there, you're going to be spending more money there.
Sure, but there's all sorts of people they want to be spending money there. They want to bring in the ones they know are going to lose money there. How much money have you lost at these casinos that they're willing to give you free rooms with jacuzzis and you can smoke in them? Was the alcohol complimentary?
No, you can't do that in Missouri. It's illegal.
Really?
Absolutely. You cannot comp a beverage in Missouri casinos.
I did not know that.
Absolutely not. So I will say I did not gamble anything. I just took them up on their lovely soaking tub offer.
Which means that's the last one you're going to get for a long time.
Probably so. I spent a whopping $4 because I did wander down to the casino floor and purchase myself a White Russian.
Yeah?
I like White Russians. Can't go wrong.
That's a bit racist, but I mean, whatever.
Fair enough. Anything you'd like to talk about this week in Variety Hour?
I've got that niece. She still cries. But I'm starting to get more acutely worried about the situation.
Okay.
Because I realized I can be in the same room as her and we're fine. I can make faces at her and we're cool. I can be explaining deconstructionalism to her and why Jacques Derrida is such a great mind, and she straight faces me, right? The minute I hold her, she cries.
Okay.
And the reason I'm starting to worry is that, I mean, everybody's heard those stories about old women who live alone with babies, and the baby's fine most of the time. And then one day, every time that old woman holds the baby with her left arm, the baby goes off. Just won't stop, won't stop, won't stop.
Okay.
And then she puts that baby in the right arm, the baby's fine. So she realizes, I just got to carry the baby in the right arm.
Okay.
I got to hold the baby, I got to pet the baby in the right hand, with my right hand.
Okay.
And she goes to the doctor and realizes she has breast cancer, stage 4 in her left breast. You know, everybody's heard those stories. So every time I hold the baby, like, I'm worried that she's not going to stop barking because it's that I'm... Wait, that's dogs. Old women don't have babies, they have dogs.
Oh, cats, but... Similar. We're on the same
what?
lines. We're on the same lines.
Babies are dumb. I'm just worried that she's picking up on something, a terminal disease.
Yeah?
And that's why she's crying.
Got the Adrianitis?
She won't stop barking. Well, I fully believe that, like your rib thing, right?
Yeah.
You went to the chiropractor.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck. Things like that pop up on me. I guess I'm dying now.
Yeah.
And I just carry it with me. And I go to work and I go to class and I go to the gym and I carry on with it. So I'm worried that one day I'm going to wake up dead. And there's going to be all the notice there was.
I, like I said, wholeheartedly avoid the doctor. And like I was like thinking about it. And this is the first time I've probably been to a doctor since I was in college.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I went to a doctor, besides when you're a kid and your parents take you and all that. In college, I was at work at the bookstore, and as I do, I had gone trekking through the woods and lived my wonderful gypsy lifestyle, and I'd gotten poison ivy. I am severely allergic to poison ivy. But as I do, I'm like, it'll go away. I'm going to take some Benadryl, it'll be fine. And it wasn't. It just kept getting worse to the point my entire back calf was just poison ivy rash. And it had gotten so bad that it had started seeping and oozing to the point where my manager says, "Did you spill something on you?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, it must be poison ivy because it's literally visibly soaked through my khakis." He's like, "All right, well, you need to leave and go to the doctor now. That's your choice. That's your option." I'm like, get it taken care of. But beyond that, no, not going to the doctor. I'm good. I will accept my death.
Yeah.
If chicken and stars and 7-Up doesn't fix it, I'm going to die.
Yeah. I'm very much the same way. So much. Have I told you about when I had shingles?
No.
When I was 18 or 19, I broke out with shingles.
Okay.
Which is normally something else that's reserved for old women, right? I was working overnights, and it was winter, and my life was hell at the time. Like, I was not sleeping. Like, not like, oh, I didn't sleep last night, let me crash for 12 hours. I was not sleeping because I would go from work to school.
Okay.
After school, boy, it sure is light outside. Hard to sleep when it's light outside.
Wide awake.
And I got chapped. One of the things that I would do during this time is I was going through a bit of an existentialist crisis because right out of high school, life sucks automatically. And I was like, wow, life has always sucked. I'm out of high school. I thought high school made life suck. It still sucks.
It's just life.
Life's always going to suck. And it does. So if you're trying to get to that point, if you're trying to understand that, life is always going to suck. But coming to terms with it is something that's very difficult.
Okay.
So it was winter, like I say. And one of the things I would do is I would drive out to one of the local parks. And I'd just sit there and think until it got too cold. And I would go home. So I figured I get chapp on my back. My back gets chapped from it. And oh my God, it hurts. Oh, wow. And then you shower and it's like, Jesus Christ. I had shingles on the entire upper corner of my back for a month.
Oh.
Before I ever even went to the doctor. Because I thought, oh my God, it's just chapped, it sort of hurts. And it was real bad, like shingles gets, along lines and clothes. And shingles will do that. I didn't know that at the time. I was 18, 19 years old. I had, like I said, shingles for a month before I went to the doctor. And at the time, what they gave you ended up having shingles for another 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's still the thing.
Yeah, so I had shingles for 2 fucking months. It was awful because I'm an idiot. And I was like, it's uncomfortable, it hurts, but yeah, so does life. Right?
My immediate reaction and concern with this whole rib thing is like, this is my gallbladder. And that's something that's usually reserved when you're considerably older. You have to have a gallbladder removed, something like that. My younger sister had to have hers removed at like 19, 20?
Really?
Yeah, and like it just failed on her.
What the hell was she doing that at 19 or 20 her gallbladder says, you know what, I'm out?
This is an amazing conundrum in my family. I get like, I inherit my genes, whatever, from my father, who has high blood pressure. Beyond that, nothing's
going to kill him.
He's fine. Never has a cavity, nothing. My mother, everything. Every disease imaginable, I mean, she's got it. She's rough shape. Little sister's the same way. Just out of nowhere, her gallbladder just...
Really?
One day, her appendix just left and right. And, like, I'm afraid of that. Because, like, I've come to the conclusion, like, I've never experienced something like that. So when it does finally hit me, I'll be like, I'm fine. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I'm totally going to die now.
Yeah.
I'm going to die because my appendix burst and I never went to the hospital, right?
And that's the thing, I'm telling my significant other about this, and she's like, well, like, that could be your appendix. You could be feeling it a little higher than normal people, because, she does work in the medical field. And I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's fucking not. Because that means I'm going to die. I'm afraid of having surgery? No.
Yeah.
Like, if that's it, take me out back, lassie.
Yeah.
Put me down.
Yeah, there's stories about people going in for, like, a stomach surgery or something and waking up without a penis. I'm not doing that. It's not going to happen.
Ow. I hate you. But anyway, that's been really the highlight of my week. I always feel like I have something that just levels my week.
Yeah, as part of being Ance Bundren.
It's a Dalton thing.
He was born upright because he was meant to stay right where he's at.
Yeah.
Nothing else? You got nothing else from this week?
Well, actually, okay, we were out, like I said, we stayed at the casino the other night. Had a great time. Really good.
If this story involves spending more than $4, I'm going to slap you in the face.
I spent $6. I'm sorry. Oh, not
Right
that. Oh, God.
Right
No. Okay, so there is a record store in Kansas City. I'm not going to name names of this particular store here, but they sell more than just records. They're a very nice record place, but it's in the basement of this building. Upstairs, they sell, it's a head shop. They sell pipes, they sell accessories, things like that. But we decided to go check it out today. I wanted to go look at the record store, kind of browse around a little bit. Got my buddy an album I think he'd really like. Got myself a John Denver album. You like John Denver?
It's all right.
Or I figured that was like more your era, so like you might appreciate a little John Denver.
You hear that?
What?
Sounds like you can kiss an ass.
Fair enough. But anyway, we're in this place, and like we're wandering around, checking out the full spectrum of it, and we've made it to the water pipes. The water pipes. And there's a big sign referring to these as...
not what they're called.
Water pipes. That's not what they're called. But it's a water pipe.
You're talking copper water pipe, the piping under the...
Not so much.
Oh, okay.
The water pipes. But we're browsing around, just kind of looking at everything, because, like, really intricate. They're really pretty to look at, honestly. But this guy comes in and just goes straight up to the counter. He's like, I need some fake piss. Got to pass a piss test. Abrasive.
Yeah.
It is sold there as a cleansing product. But the man at the counter, who, not to be rude, looks like he's never been, sober a day in his life.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly looks at that man and says, no, sir, you need to leave my store because that's a felony. We don't sell products like that. And I'm watching this from afar, and I look over at the products that are for that, and I'm looking back at this situation because this man's furious. Because instead of just looking, he just had to go in and ask for that. But apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, you can't sell it under that guise.
Under that guise, which is why there was a water pipe section. And I realized, this culture has an entire
subculture, yeah,
built.
It's like the old speakeasies in the 20s, right?
It just amazed me. But anyway, went down to the basement, spent $6 on 2 records, had a great day.
Yeah.
Not a bad day at all. Gonna go home later and listen to my John Denver greatest hits.
So one scene from working at a pharmacy is the constant clash between people like that and people like pharmacists who are oftentimes the hoity-toity kid who is really into math and science.
Okay.
Right? So one time, this guy came in and he goes back to exactly those tropes, right? That guy and the hoity-toity, well-to-do kid who came from a good household, and she was it was so funny because she spoke with a smile. You could hear the smile in her voice.
Yeah.
And she was completely oblivious to things. Oftentimes in a pharmacy, you hear a page for a person's last name.
Okay.
And she would always say, "We're ready for Cox in the pharmacy." It was it was just so perfect. And this guy comes in and he says, "Hey, I'm wondering if y'all got tests?" And she goes, "I'm not sure what you mean."
A little more specific, please.
He goes, "Well, I need I got a test coming up for, I need to test myself." And she walks him out to the diabetic section. And she's pointing at all the stuff to test for low blood sugar and things like that. And he's like, no, lady, that ain't them. And she's like, "Well, I'm not sure what you mean. I need to test myself to see if I'm high in some things." And she goes, "Well, yeah, if you've got a high blood sugar, this is what's going to get you." And then, so we've got the high blood pressure things right next to it. Mm-hmm. Those are often set right next to each other. And she goes, "And this is for high blood pressure." And he goes, "No, lady, that ain't what I'm talking about." And she goes, "Well, I'm not sure I understand." And I'm creeping along in the other aisle because I know where this is going. And he looks at her and he goes, "Weed, lady. I've been smoking weed. I need to know if I'm going to pass the test." And she just walked off. I knew that those tests are right next to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, "Hey, bud, they're right down there."
So I thought, when you were leading on this story, that she was going to take him over to, the pregnancy test or something. I forgot this happened, and, I didn't forget this happened. I just didn't want to talk about it. So when I got done with the chiropractor, after they broke me in half, she says, "We're going to take over here to our massage therapist. She's going to, rub you down a little bit, make sure it's not as tender. You get this lotion called Deep Blue, which is a peppermint essential oil thing, kind of like an icy hot in a way." They wheel out the ultrasound machine. And the lady's like, "All right, just go ahead and lay down, take your shirt off. It's going to be cold. We're going to put some gel on here. We're going to run an ultrasound." I'm like, "Excuse me?" "Hey, we're going to run an ultrasound." It's like, it's one of those things, I have literally nothing to say, so I just take my shirt off and lay down.
Well, now, if you need any strategies for Dalton.
Okay. Apparently that's a thing. It's basically the vibrations from it is like a ultrasound. I don't know how to describe it. The vibrations relax the muscles a little bit. So she's running an ultrasound literally on my stomach over here as I'm laying there, and my significant other's just staring at me, and I'm like, "We are never going to talk about this ever to anyone. So I'm really excited to, like, I have to go back Monday, right?
Yeah.
I really want to get a doctor's note and, like, take it to work and be like, no, I may be a little late. I had an ultrasound today, and I just need you to not question a damn thing about that. This is my life in a nutshell.
Oh.
Been a fun experience.
Wow.
Beyond that, World Cup is phenomenal. Like,
well, if we're talking about stories we never thought we were going to tell. Dalton sucks. If we're talking about stories we never thought we were going to tell, I've got one for you.
I would love to hear it.
It happened from this past week. And I'm going to break gym etiquette also.
Okay.
So one of the things, gym etiquette is very underrated. There's a lot of people who are overweight or in general out of shape that are afraid to start back in the gym because I don't want all these people judging me. One of the things I will say is if there's someone in the gym judging you, they're a real son of a bitch.
Absolutely.
And they're not part of gym culture. Because gym culture is, if someone's in the gym, they're in there for the same reason as you. They're trying to get better. You respect that individual. Part two is, if someone asks for a spot, you do it.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Part three is you don't talk about the locker room.
Okay.
So I've been going to gym after work, early in the morning. Not sure I want to tell this story.
Are you sure you gotta build it up a little bit? A little anticipation.
So I take my backpack, change. Normally, it's after work. Take a pee before I go to the gym, before I start working out. In the gym, changed everything. Turn the corner. I'm eye to eye with the biggest dangle I've ever seen in my life.
All right.
Looks like this man is giving birth to a child. This dangle is so... I almost asked him if he had to feed it live mice. I turn the corner and I'm just stultified by this thing. And not only that, like, I make eye contact with it and I'm frozen, right? I mean, this thing is terrifying. And I look up and he's looking at me. So all of a sudden, I'm in this place where I'm, you're like, what? I can't make that noise, right? Like, I am terrified at this point.
It hurts so bad to laugh right now, but it's so worth it.
This thing had to have had its own mailing address. Like, I am not exaggerating. I didn't know what was going on. I thought maybe he had a twin, one of those people that has a connected twin, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was stultified right there, and I'm just staring at it. And then I look up and he's staring at me, and I'm like, well, I've got to wash my hands. Like, I couldn't get out of there fast enough. And I see him every day now. He's just in there. I realized I'm going to have to make a lot more money in life if I'm participating in this rat race. Jesus Christ. That thing, I got depressed. I was feeling good about myself because, I get off work and I go to the gym and I'm getting my body right. And then I see something like that, and I'm like, no, there's no competition.
Normally when there's an Adrian goes to the gym story, it's like, oh, I did this, or like, this actually means a lot, Dalton, when you bench press this much. I'm like, it's good for you, but thank you for that.
One of the things I don't understand with something, like, looked like one of those summer sausages that gets sold with cheese at Christmas time. Like, I'm not kidding. This thing was that big. It must have weighed 6 pounds.
I need you to just wear a Hillshire's Farm shirt into the gym next week.
Or a Jack Link. I just terrified of that. And I can't go to prison.
Okay.
I can't go to prison. Like, that can't happen to me. Because I had no idea things like that were just dangling around in the wild. I didn't know things like that existed.
I'm more excited right now. Like, lately, with the last 4 or 5 variety hours, you've been captioning up top what we talk about. I want to know how you're going to word that.
Dangle.
Dangle?
Massive dangle.
Massive dangles.
Dangle depression.
Dangle depression. Okay. Thank you for that lovely tale.
I've never seen anything like that.
It hurts. It hurts.
It hurts
so
you.
much.
It hurts me.
It hurts.
I'm dead inside, and it still hurts me.
I have a throbbing pain in my stomach at this point.
I'm glad that guy didn't have a throbber, because that would have. I don't. Even in the shower, I don't know if I could have run fast enough. I mean, this guy was buff too.
I've got some buddies who do.
Like, are there? Just real quick.
Yeah.
He was buff. Biggest angle I've ever seen. Just happened upon it. Are there exercises? I feel like this is something. So Maya Good, chimes in once in a while with some home remedy or something like that. I imagine this is one of those things. Maya actually went on in the comment section one time about dangle piercings. I imagine, Maya, is there any hope? Is there any working out the dangle? Seriously though, you should have seen this thing.
I have
work of art.
I am so hard trying to segue from this conversation. I really am. But
I've been trying to get away from it in life for a little while, right? Like, I can't get it out of my mind.
I have some buddies who do stand-up, right? They do stand-up downtown, small time, nothing special. But one of them, good friend of mine, said that one night he just drank too much before his set and just hit hard, and he got up there and he was just trashed and couldn't remember his set. So he just told dick jokes for 20 minutes. And he said wholeheartedly, best show I've ever done.
Well, that probably tells
just
us
killed.
That's,
just killed.
It's got to communicate something.
Oh, well, your salad boxes are multiplying. I'll give you that much.
Yeah,
that's what I got at this point.
I've been trying to cut weight,
Yeah.
But what's the point? What's the purpose at this point?
What's the point?
Right.
I had a gym membership at one point in time.
Yeah.
Way back when, and honestly, I really did enjoy going to the gym. Not super versed in what I should be doing, but go warm up. I try to get a mile in on the treadmill, a brisk jog, walk, power walk, whatever.
Were you one of the ones that walk like this?
Yes, absolutely. Also carried Russian kettlebells around.
Soup cans. You were doing curls with soup cans.
Oh, yeah, they had the rowing machine. I'd hit the rowing machine a little bit.
Very familiar with Denise Austin, if you can't tell.
Okay.
My high school days, let me tell you.
But it was a good thing. It really was. And we used to go early in the morning because worked overnights. So on our days off, me and a buddy would go at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was a 24-hour gym. And we'd be in there by ourselves for hours. And good times. Got in a little bit of better shape. I have no qualms against the gym. I'm just too lazy to go now. So give me that streak of motivation. Maybe we'll get back to it someday.
It's interesting. For me, I've always been someone who enjoyed the asceticism that goes along with things like that. Mm-hmm. It's a little depressed. I don't know if you can tell.
Fair.
I fell out of it for a while, and now it's too ascetic. Now the torture of the body for the good of the soul is too much. But one of the things that's always interesting to me is you said not too sure what I'm supposed to be doing in there. Mm-hmm. No one is.
Okay.
And you could
comforting.
You can YouTube different workouts for hours, and everyone's got a different one.
Okay.
And the hell of it is, it works for them. So here's the thing I've always thought: don't say what should I be doing in here. Find something where you feel like you're making progress,
and work at it.
And the minute you stop feeling the progress, change it up.
Fair.
Because it's not a 5x5 that works. It's not a 3x10 that works. It's not a 10-8-6 that works. Everything works a little bit different at a little different time for everyone else.
I've always just come to the conclusion that if you're in there and you're making an effort, you're breaking a sweat, you're doing good for yourself. You're doing something. And I've been considering this for a while because, starting grad school next year, I'll have gym membership again at the college. I never went when I was in my undergrad career. I might actually stop out there now. Give it a go.
Not a bad gym.
Not a bad gym. I know you were there a lot.
From what I understand, they have made upgrades.
Okay.
Even from the time when I was there. A lot of powerlifting platforms. If I could talk you into doing deadlifts, that would be very beneficial for you. It's beneficial for everyone.
So when I was considerably younger, teenage years, I actually did a couple years of competitive weightlifting.
Really?
Absolutely. So I'm familiar with the deadlift. I did the clean and jerk and the snatch competitively.
Normally, I jerk before I clean, especially if there's a snatch involved.
That was poetic almost. That's a shirt idea right there. That's amazing. But no, I did that for maybe a year and a half or so. Actually really did enjoy it. It was a good thing. Have you ever done like a live weightlifting competition or anything?
No.
Very interesting because like you go out there and like you do your lifts, and the judges basically, at least the ones that I went to, had like a light system. Whether it was like an acceptable one, it was all green, or there was red if there was something wrong with your form or you didn't do it right. But went out there and we were in the back lifting before we went out, and I can't tell you how much weight it was. It's been way too long. But I couldn't lift this. Like, coach was trying to like give me like, this is what we're going to be lifting. I want you to lift this. Couldn't do it. But you get out there, you get that adrenaline going. Did it, no problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good thing. My coach at the time, his son ended up being born and had some very severe physical deformities. He just didn't have the time to do it anymore. He had to take care of his son. So like that's how I got out of it. Beyond that, really enjoyed it, honestly.
Well, you've got the physical proportions of a power lifter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like your hands. You've got the piano hands,
Okay.
One of the things that people do is, so I got short, stubby hands.
All right.
It's hard for me to grip, right? So one of the things that people with hands like yours do is when they're doing deadlift, you're not allowed straps in competition. Mm-hmm. You're allowed chalk in competition, but that's different. So you wrap your thumb around first, and then when you squeeze the bar, it's your fingers over your thumb.
Interesting.
Which people dislocate their thumbs and give themselves arthritis, but it allows you a lot more lifting power because you've got your hand closed. You're not around the bar, you're closed over your thumb.
Okay. Well, with this gym membership out at the college, you can take a guest. So maybe we'll do Adrian and Dalton do a day at the gym.
I don't know if they would allow us to record.
We could ask nicely.
We could ask nicely. Yeah, it's always college kids that are on duty there, so I guarantee you there'd be someone who didn't give a shit.
We could ask nicely and wait till that person works there.
Yeah.
But I will let you know, with the way my ribs feel right now, not happening for a while.
No clean and jerk with your ribs like that?
Absolutely not.
It's actually one of the things that helps you get your rib put back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine it, because it is a posture thing. It really is.
Well, it's a posture thing. It's about your body not being warmed up. It's about not being limber like you should be. So one of the main problems I have with my rib is that I'm not flexible at all.
Yeah?
So, but I'm muscled. So I'm not flexible, but my muscles are there, but they're tight. So the minute it comes out, all the muscles around my rib cage say, "Fuck you," and it just squeezes it. But yeah, moving around helps.
I've always come to the conclusion here that nothing about me makes sense. I'm a weirdly proportioned person.
Yeah.
I have really large shoulders and these tiny little legs. I don't get it. I have the upper body strength of a toddler. It's awful, but you put me on a leg press all day.
All day.
Whatever you want to move, we can move. So, we'll find out maybe. Maybe one of these days we'll do it.
We'll do it.
We'll do it.
Be on Bantam Paradox.
See that little plug right there?
Speaking of Bantam Paradox, one of the things that's... Oh, I don't have it. I don't know where it went. But one of the things we're going to be doing for Bantam Paradox is going through 12 Rules of Life, An Antidote to Chaos by one Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
Not because I'm a Jordan Peterson fan, but because I believe that there are certain things that you should be able to take from someone who has been a clinical psychologist for as long as he has, and those are the things about which you should listen to him. So we will not be taking any of Jordan Peterson's advice on religion or literature, but that book seems to help a lot of people.
Okay.
Have you read any self-help stuff?
Not that I could think of. Self-help as in just as general, or just anything
anything along those lines.
I did read a couple financial books. I remember one being The Millionaire Next Door.
Okay.
I read that at one point in time. If you would consider Sam Harris in any way, shape, or form self-help.
Which one was it?
We tackled Waking Up at one point in time.
Yeah, I think
which was an enjoyable read.
Yeah.
Malcolm Gladwell, I've read a little bit of.
That's a weird fella, too. I don't know if you've ever seen him speak.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
But I
all
read...
these people are on YouTube.
Really?
You can find Malcolm Gladwell's on YouTube. Robert Greene, you can find stuff of him on YouTube. So that's one of the great things about... I don't do much self-help reading anymore.
Okay.
I do a lot of YouTube stuff on it.
YouTube seems like a good market for self-help, because when I was working in the bookstore, you'd always have the self-help section, the financial section, And I'm looking at all these books, and like I eventually picked up The Millionaire Next Door, and like it was okay, whatever. But it's the same thing that every financial book will tell you. You should probably spend less money.
That's where it starts, Dalton.
You should probably spend less money. And like it's simple in concept. I don't know why I need to read a 200-page book about this.
Well, Dalton, do you save a lot of money?
No, I don't.
Maybe that specific author can tell you something that will kick your ass into gear to make you save money.
I did very well for a period of time, and that seems to be very much me. Once I tackle something and I want to put myself into it, I do fine. But once I accomplish what I want to accomplish, I'm like, all right, that's done. Let's move on to something else.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of that, so we talk a lot on the channel about going full-time.
Yes.
I have two numbers in mind. One financial in my bank account that I would have to hit, and one financial through doing this that we would have to hit for me to be able to say reasonable.
Okay.
I could do this. Both of those, one of those, the savings number is very aggressive.
Okay.
The income number is very low. But I might be losing my job.
We talked about this a little bit.
One thing I have always done and I will always do, whether I lose my job or not, is I can't stand when people are parked in handicapped spots that are not handicapped.
Fair.
Can't do it. I had a handicapped friend who had the van, had to have the van to get out. So when you see some of these handicapped spots that have the grating next to them, the big space, that's for vans that have a wheelchair spot that you can get out in the back. There's a little lift that comes out. A lot of people don't know about this, right? Because they've never been around it. Lift comes out, you station your wheelchair on there, lift lowers. Mm-hmm. Have to have a lot of space for that. I knew a guy with the van refused to take handicapped spots because someone might really need one.
Fair.
When you have the lift and you refuse to take a handicapped spot because someone might really need it,
says something.
That means you've got to park way out in the parking lot because you've got to have a space next to you that no one is parked in and no one is going to park in while you're in the store, right? Because then you can't even get back in your vehicle. And I don't know, have you ever used a wheelchair?
Yes, actually.
It's hell on your forearms, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You'll
Good
feel that
God.
burn.
So when you're parking 40 yards away from the Walmart, because someone who might need that spot would pull in. So whenever someone parks in one of those spots, I don't confront, hey, but I say, hey, I understand that not all disabilities are visible, right? So do you have notifications? Is what I'll say, So I went into work, and there was someone parked in their car, talking on the phone. And I just happened up on the vehicle and say, do you have notifications for your vehicle? All you got to do is show me and I walk off, right? Refused to even roll the window down. So I'm trying to scream at the car. And I say, finally, look, I'll call the police. I'll do that. And she says, go ahead. Well, sometime between me having this conversation with her, walking in to call the police, and her coming back into the store, she hung up her notification. All she had to do was just flash me the sign.
Yeah.
And I walk off, right? Refused to do it. So now I got the police in there. And she's hooting and hollering, screaming, I'm going to call the news, I'm going to call the district, I'm going to call this, that, and the other. I don't care. I don't care. But then I get a text from my boss saying, look, we got to talk about this. I'm going to call you. Last person that got a call lost their job. So if you were on the fence about becoming a patron, now would be a really good time for me.
What a segue on that.
But I can't stand people who... I've always had a spot, a lot of people that struggle with a lot of things, I tell you, stiff upper lip,
Yeah.
You've got to figure it out. But I've always understood about disabilities.
Yeah.
And so did you have something to say?
Oh, well, my mother has multiple sclerosis. She has the placard for handicap parking, and she will use it from time to time. She has a lot of balance issues, and like medically speaking, the woman should be in a wheelchair.
Right.
We've gone to tons and tons of doctors, MRIs, all kinds of things, and they'll look at it and be like, we really have no idea how you walk, but keep on walking while you got it.
Keep on keeping on.
But heat's bad for her, and she'll take falls about every year. Balance is an issue, whatnot. So, I mean, she uses it when she needs it, and that's fine. But that is a thing. You never know. If you look at her from a distance, you probably couldn't tell. Just fine and dandy.
Right.
But it's a necessary thing. But it's really just as simple as just putting up your notification.
Yeah.
I understand you. I got you.
Well, and it's like, so for me, it goes back to grade school. There was a kid, I was in Adventure Club. You know what Adventure Club is?
No.
It is a before and after school activities program. If, say, you have a parent that can't take you to school at the time for school, you got to be there early and stay late because they work or whatever. So I was in one of those programs, and there was a guy with Down syndrome in the program too. And being in grade school, people get made fun of, you know? So, and I've struggled with years for the fact that people would make fun of him, and I would never stand up for him. But I did go out of my way to be friends with him, you know? But at that point, I didn't have the gumption to say, you know what? Shut your goddamn mouth, kid, or I'm going to shut up for you, you know? But I made friends with him. And I remember one time, I think he was either a couple years younger than me, or there was someone so they would separate the kids, 4th and 5th graders in one room, kindergarten through 3rd in another.
Okay.
And he was either 2 years younger than me when I was in the 5th grade, or there was someone in the main room who had a special license that could deal with someone with Down syndrome, right? Certification. But at a certain point, because my mother worked for Adventure Club, so we were always like the last kids to leave, because she would get out of her school, come to ours, and get us, you know. So at a certain point, when there was few enough people left working there, they would bring the 4th and 5th graders down to the big room with the kindergarten through 3rd graders. And I go down there one time, and he was in timeout. His name was Ian, and Ian was in timeout. I was like, what is going on here, you know? And mind you, at this time, I was also terrified of adults.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I was terrified of adults. Even positive attention, I would run away from.
Okay.
So he's sitting over there in timeout. I'm like, I know somebody put him there, but A, he's my friend. B, I don't think that's right. And C, I mean, he's got the Lincoln Logs. Everybody likes the Lincoln Logs.
Gotta have some Lincoln Logs.
Yeah. So I make my way over there, and I sort of checking out the situation. So I step into timeout, and I'm playing with Ian. And one of the teachers comes up and is like, hey, what are you doing? He's in timeout. You're not supposed to be over here. Even if you were in timeout too, you're not supposed to be talking to him, you know?
Story of Adrian's life, really.
Yeah. And I said, okay. So being the subversive little shit that I was, without the ability to stand up to an adult, what I did was I followed that adult until the adult quit paying attention to me, and I circled right back around. Got in trouble for it, whatever. But the hell of this story is, that would have been in the 5th grade. I did not go to the same middle school as Ian or high school. But when I got my first job, 17, so, I mean, we're talking nearly a decade later.
Okay.
And it's not between 30 and 40 or between 40 and 50. This is formative years.
Yeah.
Like, no one's looking the same from 5th grade to 17 years
Absolutely.
old, right? I was a cashier at first, and I'm running a register, and there was a guy with Down syndromes who would come in with his mom, and I thought it was Ian, but one of the hallmarks of Down syndrome is similar facial features, right? So plus 10 years of time in between, I'm not sure. So one day, all of this time has passed. All of this aging has gone on. And I find like, I gotta say something if it is, right? So you get to that moment where you talk yourself into something and you kind of do it wrong, you freak out. So I didn't say anything to his mom. I looked at him and I go, Ian? And he looks at me, and there's this second of recognition, and he gets the biggest smile on his face. and he comes around behind the counter and hugs me, and it just, to this day, that's one of those things. I was like, wow, man, that's nearly brings me to tears even now.
Yeah.
You know, a decade later, this guy remembered me, and
Fair enough.
you know, I guess I had done all right. It still eats me that I wouldn't put anyone in their place when they said something
Yeah, you
stupid.
were a kid.
Yeah, but that's one of those things that I beat myself up over,
Yeah.
and I think that's something that is all right to beat yourself up over. So now, anytime I see something like someone parked in a handicap spot, I say something.
Fair.
And it's going to lead to me getting stabbed someday, you know.
It all just boils down to just pleasantries, and like I don't understand this here. Like we bitch and we moan about a lot of things, we do, but out in public, I'm nice as can be. I'm very polite to people, try to be well spoken. You know, anybody wants to have a conversation, I'll have a conversation, please and thank you. I just don't understand some people.
Yeah.
Who just yeah.
Well, and see, I suppose one of the faults of my character, and there are many, is that I will be pleasant with people. I will be nice to people to whom I have to be nice. But the moment I decide that someone has done something, and you know, who am I to be the decider, right? Who am I to decide? But the moment, like with the handicap spot thing, I'll say something. You know what? You're going to hear about it.
Fair.
So there are probably lots of people in this world who know me as an asshole, just a straight up prick, someone who you don't want to talk to. And I don't try to engage with people. And even then, like, I have the presence of mind and the knowledge of character to understand that there are some people to whom, when someone tries to talk to me and I try to get out of the conversation, but not in a rude fashion, to them it's extremely rude.
Fair.
You know,
Fair.
so there is a giant spectrum of what's going on in daily transactions with people. I don't know. So I might be unemployed soon, which means I'll be full-time on the channel regardless. So I'll be doing a lot of work on here, and frame rate for movies, and Bantam Paradox. So I will include a link to those channels in the description below.
We'll see what comes of it.
Yeah.
It's going to be an adventure.
Just one of the, I don't know, man, just one of those things. Just one of the, all that person had to do, just flash me that little sign.
Yeah.
But wanted conflict. That person wanted conflict. And if, I guarantee you, if I told the story to your mother would be on my side, right? Because anyone who might have to use those places, those spaces, wants someone going around like that, and just checking.
Yep.
You know? Like, so this person, that's what gives me just the biggest dose of piss and vinegar about it, is that there's a lot of people who talk their doctors into giving them one.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the thing.
So if you're someone that doesn't appreciate someone just checking those types of things, you probably don't need to be parking there.
Fair enough.
Right? I don't know. Who's to say? Anyway.
Very
sombering.
Well, you got to get it out. You feel better now.
Just mad.
I understand.
It's worked me up again. I shouldn't have talked about it.
Yeah. I'm telling your hair. It's just like that curl's just flipping everywhere now.
Yeah.
But anyway, variety hour. We had it. We made it. Another hour done.
Stories about dangles.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Right back to that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So if you do like this kind of thing, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and give this video a like as well. We always appreciate a good like. And leave some comments down in the comment section down below. We really do like to hear from people. We try to get back as quick as we can.
Talk to Dalton about the depths of hipsterism into which he is falling to be dressing like he is dressed.
I have no idea what you're talking about. And if you get a chance, pop over to Amazon, put strip cover lit in that search bar, and
what does it suggest if you put in strip cover lip?
If you put in strip cover lip, it's like, did you mean striped colored duvets? I'm like, no. But we may open a channel called that. Homemaking with Adrian and Dalton. Glad you find the humor.
Oh, I do take joy in your pain.
Well, I'm here for the pain this week, baby.
And I'm here for the joy. Good.
I was going to...
I do enjoy the fact that I'm still making you be the one that gets up.
He's a bastard.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.